Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I thought we would do is to take a look at watches travel watches for gentlemen and vagabonds. It's sort of a stretch in the prices from fairly pricey to I think some really good bargains, very affordable. But let's take a look at what we've got here. Now, the first one is the Parmigiani Toric Hemisphere Retrograde. In 2017, this watch won the award for the best travel watch. Now, before they had the retrograde version, they had the one on the right, the one I'm wearing, and it's called the Tonda Hemispheres, and it is exactly the same except for one thing. It's got a little date window right here instead of having a retrograde. Now, for my money, I'd rather have the retrograde, but you get what you get. What is so great about this watch are a number of things. Probably one of the most important things for a true international, worldwide travel watch is having the ability to have what I'll call an offset to certain countries that are a half hour difference from everybody else. So for example, India, which is the most populous country in the world, not something to sneeze at. So they'll have when it's on the hour, GMT time, theirs will be on the half hour. And what you can do with this one, this is the top crown, you can set the top dial. This is your away dial, or however you want it. This is your away and the other one can be home, however you want to do it. But if you want to set it up in terms of GMT, or you just want to in terms of your traveling, you can set this, let's say for example, it's 10 o'clock and in India it's 7:30. So if you're on the hour one place, there'll be that, but you can set this for that. And that's one of the really great things about this. This one sets the top one, and then the bottom crown sets both of them. And so once you have it set, mine are set to New York time, or Connecticut, or Bloomfield, Connecticut time, and then the other time zone is Geneva, our CET, Central European time. And so it's for travel, and then of course I can set it anywhere I want to. That's one of the really nice things about this. On the Toric, the more expensive one, the MSRP is $26,400. On the used price, the best price I could find, doesn't mean it's the best price anywhere, was $14,900. Now you can still find the original Tonda versions, one like mine, and you can find them in gold, and you can also find it minus stainless steel. That was $11,895. That was, like I said, the best price, and this is, of course, before you negotiate on it. So that's the first gentleman's, if you will, watch. Now, the true gentleman's watch is this next one. This is the Van Cleef and Arpels, and with the name is Heure d'ici et heure d'ailleurs, which means time here and time elsewhere. Now, this is another travel watch I have. I have two of them, this one and this one. I think I may have another one with this extra hour on it. This watch was developed by Pierre Arpels of Van Cleef and Arpels. In 1949, you can see the one up there on the sort of the right top is a very simple watch, and you have these bar lugs for the top and bottom, and then you have a very simple, very dress watch. Now, 2013, 2014, 2012, right in that area. Van Cleef and Arpels decided, well, what we want to do, we want to get modern. The original one was hand wound, and they still have it, and you can get it now in white gold at 38 or 42 millimeters. The thing about this one, though, they said, well, what we want one that is thin, we want one that's automatic, and we want one with 2 time zones. Well, I mean, that was no small job, I'll put it that way. And so they had worked with Jean-Marc Viderec of Agenor before, and so they said, well, what we'd like you to do, they've been using the Piaget movement, said, we'd like you to take the Piaget movement and then add a module that would add automatic and dual time. And he took a look at it, he said, there's no way to do that and also make it thin and have all these new things done to it. And so what he did, he started from scratch. He made a brand new movement, and the movement has a platinum micro rotor in it. The 2 time zones you have up here and down here, and they're just like this watch. One is set to New York time, and the other one is set to Geneva time. And then there's a retrograde minute here, and so you can look at in a very, very compact window. You can see everything. You can see 2 time zones. You can see the time in terms of the minutes, and there isn't a second hand, but I can live without that on that. So anyway, this is a second gentleman. Now this is a true gentleman's dual time. Now another one. This is by the way too. This one, the MSRP right now is $27,000. I think they had been higher, then they went lower, and now they're going up again. I couldn't find any on the used market, so anyway, but they're available at Van Cleef and Arpels. Now this next one is All Lange und Söhne, the Lange one time zone. This is their dual time. And this is the interesting thing about this watch. The MSRP is $52,000, which is not cheap. But what a beautiful watch. The caliber L031.1 is really it's a masterpiece. I love this watch. 42 millimeter in white gold, or you can get it in platinum and also in I guess it would be rose gold. So this watch is another one, very much of a gentleman's watch. You have your night and day indicator. And this, by the way, too, this is another thing that this one has. It has 2 night and day indicators, so you can tell at a glance what it is. Now, this one also has a world time, so you can see anywhere in the world what the time is. On the back, looking at the back I think is almost as fascinating as the front. You have the engraving on the balance cock and some of those little bridges coming off the bottom. But there's a giant plate, and so you don't see as much as I'd like to see. I like ones where you can see everything that's going on, or at least as much as possible. This one is manually wound, 26,600 semi-oscillations per hour, 72-hour reserve. That's a sweetheart of a watch. Now this next one is brand new. This just came out, Speake-Marin open work dual time terracotta. I gotta say this, as much as I like this watch, why it comes with a white rubber strap, I don't know. But they thought, well, that would be a good thing to have, so that's what they have. Now this one comes in 2 sizes. It comes in 38 millimeters and 42 millimeters. The 38 millimeter is 31,900 Swiss francs. and the 42 millimeters is 32,400 Swiss francs. I think that's a good idea. I mean, not everybody is 38 or 42, but some people like them a little bigger, a little smaller. So I think that's a very good idea. Now the movement is interesting. It's the caliber SMA. Now SMA is for Speake-Marin. I don't know what the A is, but for something, I guess Ateliers perhaps. Now this is what they say about this. This is the dual time zone, 4 hertz, and what it points out, it says the functions designed and manufactured in-house by, I would just mangle it in French, but basically it's name of a group that is called the Circle of Horologers. That's sort of like Agenor, it's a group that makes unique movements. They're in Glashütte, France. Micro rotor, 52-hour power reserve. Now, let me say this about the Circle of Horologers. These guys are seriously great, but they're not they're not in-house in the sense that they belong to Speake-Marin. They will go to your place of your manufacturer and work with you there, and so they're in-house in that respect, but they have built fantastic movements from different watch companies. So I wish they wouldn't do that at Speake-Marin, but what can I say? Nobody listens to me, and quite frankly, I can't blame them. But it's a very, very interesting movement. Okay, moving right along. Now, this next one, we're starting to go down in the price. And in some respects, going down a lot. So the last one was 32,000. Here we are now, we're half of that, 14,600. Pre-owned, I found them for 5,613. For some reason, Jaeger-LeCoultre's, their price goes down a lot, and they don't lose value. They have the same value as a brand new one. It's just the price that changes. Here's another honey of a watch. I love their movements. Caliber 939. I'm going to say something more about that in a second. Automatic 4 hertz. It's got a 24-hour display, and the amount of reserve on this is, I think it's like 70 hours. I didn't put it down here, but this watch is one of my favorite for price, for everything. Down at the bottom, you can set it to different cities. There's 24 cities, and there are 24 time zones, and they're represented by different cities. And then up at right around 2 o'clock, you can see it's got a hand date, and then a power reserve indicator over between 10 and 11. Now, looking at this, here we have a Van Cleef and Arpels, Monsieur Arpels dual time generation calendar. Love this watch. Essentially, it's got the same movement, but not quite the same movement as the Jaeger-LeCoultre. It's JLC 939A/1, and it's based on the 939A. Automatic 4 hertz. Now this one's got 43-hour reserve, and the newer one that we were just looking at has 70-hour reserve, but it's essentially the same. This watch, though, is something about it I really like. It's 39 millimeters instead of 40 for some reason. On the back, there's something that's called a generation calendar, and it goes into way beyond any of us are going to live. It's and you can move it. It's got a little thing on the back, and you can move it to different times to set it up, and so then when you're looking at the top and the bottom, you can see the exact date for any year you want to set it for. It's really a neat, unusual thing. But basically, except for the cities down at the bottom, here's is a dual time Jaeger-LeCoultre movement, but different. The watch is different, and it's a Van Cleef and Arpels. I don't know why I have a soft spot for them, but I do. $7,000 on eBay. I found exactly one of these. It's got a mother of pearl dial on it. I don't know. To me, this one is very yummy watch. But I've got this one, so I can't have too many watches. Okay. Now we're getting down to, this is sort of semi-vagabond, and now we get into some more real vagabond. This is another company I like a lot, Mühle Glashütte. This is a new one they have called the Sportivo Travel GMT. It's got a caliber Salida 330-2, which is, I think, based on the ETA 2892 AT to some extent, but it's called the version Mühle. And the reason for that, it's got this woodpecker regulator. I love the woodpecker regulator. And it's the type of swan neck that you can have fine regulation with it. This is a neat watch. It's got for a time zone, it's got a special time zone hand. It's got a 56-hour reserve, a quick date correction, and it's got a second stop, or stop second, or as some people like to call it, hacking. So there's another one now. This is the MSRP on this is €2,950. That's probably closer, maybe $3,300, something like that. It's not a bad deal at all, and that's with the metal bracelet. Okay, next up is another one that I like a lot. This is a really good buy, $1,200, 40 millimeters steel, the Seiko Presage SAR-FO11 Ocean Traveler GMT Blue. It's got a caliber 6R64 automatic 4 Hertz, 45-hour reserve. Now it has a time zone, and then what it describes it as time zone or indicate the AM PM status of the main dial. Well, yeah, you can do that. The time, the night and day of the dial is, you can see from about 9 o'clock over to 3 o'clock, where it has 18 to 6 is night. And then at the bottom, you can see the lighter one, that's the daytime. It's got a power reserve over between about 9 and 10. And their calibers are very nice. I like Seiko caliber, very good time machines. Now, the final one, our first one that we looked at was the retrograde version of this, and it had won a grand prize at the Grand Prix d'Orléans de Genève, and it won it for the travel time. Back in 2011, the Montblanc Star World Time GMT, it also won, but not for the travel time. It won for what's called the Petite Aiguille, which at the time were lower priced ones. I think they were under $8,000 back then, something like that. Well, anyway, this one, I think new, you can find them right around 5,000, something like that. This particular one, one of the best prices I could find on this watch was $2,650. And again, it is sort of a cool thing to have at least one watch in your collecting that won something at the Grand Prix. And this one did. It's a Grand Prix winner, and it's got a world time. You can check the time out different places around the world. And then it has a sort of in the sort of dial that makes up the center portion of it. You got the night, day, and then you also have you can see the little second time zone hand in red. Anyway, this is a sweet little watch. The caliber is called MB4810/405. It's got an ETA base of a 2892, which is one of the movements I like. Automatic 4 hertz, 42-hour power reserve. And then it's got a rotating inner ring that displays the 24 time zones and the 24 cities. Anyway, so these are my choices for the gentleman's time and gentleman's travel and the vagabond. I'd be very interested in hearing what you think, and if you got any one of these or another one you say, hey, why this would be a good one to include, let me know. And until this is an opportunity to subscribe if you like, and until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.